Hello and welcome. You're all familiar with two-wheeler major Bajaj Auto. What you may not be familiar is the fact that its overseas markets have been growing perhaps much faster than domestic. Let me quote you some figures. International sales were $400 million in 2008 and are now almost $1.5 billion in 2013. That's phenomenal growth. Clearly not as much as India, which of course has been slowing down not just for two-wheelers but a whole lot of other sectors as well. Joining me to understand and also talk a little bit about the new growth net markets or the new growth net economies where there is growth potential and what are the opportunities within that is Rakesh Sharma, President International Business for Bajaj Auto. Rakesh, thank you very much for joining us. So tell us, you said 25 countries you are active. What are some of the major countries in this, and what is the kind of presence you have and for what kind of products from the Bajaj Auto stable?
Well, our international business footprint is actually all across the emerging markets of the world, the kind of markets which GrowthNet is talking about. And these are in Asia, Africa and Latin America. To give you some sort of specific countries, Bajaj Auto is pretty successful in countries like Philippines, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Bangladesh in Asia. In Africa, we are in about 15 countries, starting from Nigeria, Angola, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda. And in Latin America, we are in Peru, Chile, Argentina, Honduras, Guatemala, Colombia, Mexico. So you can see it's very much a pretty broad footprint in the south part of the globe. And this is through motorcycles and three-wheelers. Our motorcycles go under three brand names: Pulsars, which are a sporty motorcycle; Discovers, which are commuters; and Boxers, which are utility motorcycles which carry passengers or goods. So Boxer is the #1 brand in Africa in motorcycles. And you know, a lot of Africa moves on the Bajaj
Right.
Boxer.
Right. And you're also, you're doing almost 1.5 million units this year.
Correct.
Right? And all of that is coming from in and around Pune?
Exactly. Everything is manufactured in India, and the exports are basically from two plants. One is Chakan, which is a suburb of Pune, and the other primarily from where our three-wheelers and two-wheelers motorcycles go is Aurangabad. We've got a very large plant over there. Every day about 100 containers leave the factories of Bajaj Auto from either Aurangabad or
Yeah,
Chakan.
actually, I was going to come to that. So that's a lot of two-wheelers you're
Huge,
getting out of the
Yeah, when I'm
ports.
driving from Bombay to Pune, I get pretty irritated at the traffic being blocked by these containers. And then I realize that it'll probably be ours. Yeah, it's a large volume of goods that we are shifting. And the significant point is that every single bike or three-wheeler goes branded as Bajaj or one of the brand names which I said. Nothing is sent out as in an unbranded manner.
Right. So what's the explains this growth? Is it because you've entered these markets and you're starting at a low base also, or is it because these markets themselves have been growing very fast or rapidly in the last few years?
It's a very good question. Bajaj has actually had an international orientation for a very long time. But it's only in the last 7 or 8 years that we have seen a real, a very huge and significant expansion of the business. And I've thought a lot about this, what has actually driven this. There are three things which I would say. The first one is really the universality of our products, this phase has coincided with, very big improvements taking place in our costs and quality of our products. And we find that even though we do business in over 30 countries, there are more things which are common than different. And these products, which are designed and manufactured in Indian conditions, they have got a universal appeal. And without any doubt, the single most important reason which explains our success is the quality of our product. They are solving the problems which consumers are facing in these countries.
And would that be things like mileage? Are consumers in these countries as obsessive about mileage as, let's say, India?
No. I have not come across a single country which is as obsessive about mileage as India. Even those countries which fuel is more expensive than India. Mileage plays a factor, but not to the degree of obsession which is over here. But it is, convenience, durability, low maintenance, comfort of driving.
And cost.
And in some countries in Latin America, it's the style, the design. We find that the style quotient in Latin America is much higher than, let's say, South Asia. People would pay extra money for style. They like our styles and designs. So those things have really worked for us. The second thing, which is really, one can say, which explains the success, is we chose a model which tended to collaborate with local entrepreneurs or regional entrepreneurs, as against trying to set up our own companies and trying to do everything ourselves. There are pros and cons of this model. The big upside is that you tap into local entrepreneurial talent and ways of working. The downside is that you have to invest a lot more effort in getting people aligned to your strategy and to your way of thinking. But on the balance, we have found that having engagement with local entrepreneurs who are hungry to become number one in their own country has held us in good stead. And finally, the most important factor is top management commitment. You cannot succeed in international business if you are in and out of it. This is a long-term play, and the top management has to be committed to being a success in international business. Once you walk out of a country, you can never re-enter it, in my opinion, for the next 10 to 15 years if you walk out of a country dishonorably. Therefore, you have to have your eyes open, you have to be very clear that you are there for the long term, and in pursuit of that long term goals, there are hardships, there are choices and sacrifices to be made. So I guess these are the three sort of fundamental reasons why, which explain our growth.
So two quick and last questions. How do you see the growth prospects from the growth net countries in coming years, as in the sort of immediate future coming years? And secondly, you must have obviously traveled a lot in all these countries in Africa and Latin America. One interesting anecdote that you want to leave with us.
Okay. Let me take the first one, first question first. So I am absolutely optimistic about our future and the future of these markets and economies. Of course, there are a lot of disturbances. As you know, there are political disturbances in places like Egypt and Mali, and now Venezuela is going to go through an upheaval. In spite and despite all that, I feel that the demographics and the forces of uptrading and people wanting to improve their lot are so strong that we will find these markets will prosper.
And this actually could apply to any manufacturer. I mean, anyone who's targeting, not just two-wheelers.
Not just the thing. Of course, we have a proven proposition, so we have a lot of self-confidence. And in these markets, our market share is around 20%. So what this means is that there is an 80% over there waiting for us, which is on the back foot. We have the momentum. So therefore, from a market point of view and from our own prospects, I feel very, very optimistic in the next couple of years. Right. There will be interruptions. It will not be a straightforward, straight line growth. It will be ups and downs. But that's the situation in international business.
So one anecdote that you can...
Yeah. This happened to me about 4 or 5 months ago. I was in Peru, and we were having a meeting with our dealers over there. These guys were selling Bajaj motorcycles and three-wheelers. They've been our dealers for quite some time. So it was an open house session. And one of the dealers who could speak a little bit of English got up and said that we want to request Bajaj for one thing. We would like you to put Made in India in 3 or 4 places on the bike. And naturally, all of us felt extremely proud and good and about this. But then my service manager, who's been sort of in and out of Peru for the last 5 years, he told me just 3 years ago, the same dealers had gotten up and said, there is a Made in India which is coming on the tire. Can you remove it because consumers don't like it? So this is the whole journey. This anecdote explains where in these 3 years, where is Bajaj and where is India, we have sort of traveled. And whenever I think about that evening, it just sort of inspires me quite a bit.
And I'm sure it'll inspire whoever watches our conversation as well.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.